Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Okay.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we are in the chapter 14 from the 6th canto, and maybe someone can read 30 verses from here, from verse number 1. Who would like to read? Let me pick one then. Yeah, maybe Dvaragavachini Mataji, Gaur Bhagwan Prabhu. One of you can read.
Yes, Prabhu.
Shall we read, Prabhuji?
First 30 verses.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. King Chitra Ketu's lamentation. King Parikshit inquired from Sukdev Goswami, O learned Brahmana, demons are generally sinful. Being obsessed with the modes of passion and ignorance, how then could Vitrasura have attained such exalted love for Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana? Demigods situated in the modes of goodness and great saints cleansed of the dirt of material enjoyment hardly ever render pure devotional service at the lotus feet of Mukunda. Therefore, how could Vitrasur have become such a great devotee? In this material world, there are many living entities as atoms. Among these living entities, a very few are human beings, and among them, few are interested in following religious principles. O best of Brahmanas, Shukdev Goswami, out of many persons who follow religious principles, only few desire liberation from the material world. Among many thousands who desire liberation, one may actually achieve liberation, giving up material attachment to society, friendship, love, country, home, wife, and children. And among many thousands of such liberated persons, one who can understand the true meaning of liberation is very rare. O great sage, among many millions who are liberated and perfect in knowledge of liberation, one may be a devotee of Lord Narayan or Krishna. Such devotees who are fully peaceful are extremely rare. Vritrasur was situated in the blazing fire of battle and was an infamous, sinful demon, always engaged in giving troubles and anxiety to others. How could such a demon become so greatly Krishna conscious? My dear Lord, Shukdev Goswami, although Vritrasur was a sinful demon, he showed the prowess of a most exalted Kshatriya and satisfied Lord Indra in battle. How could such a demon be a great devotee of Lord Krishna? These contradictions have caused me great doubt, and they have made me eager to hear of this from you. Sri Suta Goswami said, after hearing Maharaj Parikshit's very intelligent question, Shukdev Goswami, the most powerful sage, began answering his disciple with great affection. Sri Shukdev Goswami said, O king, I shall speak to you the same history I have heard from the mouths of Vyasdev, Narad and Devala. Please listen with attention. O King Parikshit, in the province of Shursen, There was a king named Chitraketu who ruled the entire earth. During his reign, the earth produced all necessities of life. This Chitraketu had 10 million wives, but although he was capable of producing children, he did not receive a child from any of them. By chance, all wives were barren. Chitraketu, the husband of these millions of wives, was endowed with a beautiful form, magnanimity, and youth. He was born in a high family. He had a complete education, and he was wealthy and opulent. Nevertheless, in spite of being endowed with all these assets, he was full of anxiety because he did not have a son. His queens all had beautiful faces and attractive eyes, yet neither his opulences, his hundreds and thousands of queens, nor the lands of which he was the supreme proprietor were sources of happiness for him. Once upon a time, when the powerful sage named Angira was traveling all over the universe without engagement, by his sweet will he came to the palace of King Chitraketu. Chitraketu immediately stood up from his throne and offered him worship. He offered drinking water and eatables, and in this way performed his duty as a host to great guests. When the rishi was seated very comfortably, the king restrained his mind and senses, sat on the ground at the side of the rishi's feet. O King Parikshit, when Chitraketu, bent low in humility, was seated at the lotus feet of the great sage, the sage congratulated him for his humility and hospitality. The sage addressed him in the following words. The great sage Angira said, My dear king, I hope that your body and mind and your royal associates in paraphernalia are well. When the seven properties of material nature, the total material energy, the ego, and five objects of sense gratification are in proper order, the living entity within the material elements is happy. Without these seven elements, one cannot exist. Similarly, a king is always protected by seven elements: his instructor, Swami or Guru, his ministers, his kingdom, his fort, his treasury, his royal order, and his friends. O king, O Lord of humanity, when a king directly depends upon his associates and follows their instructions, he is happy. Similarly, when his associates offer their gifts and activities to the king and follow his orders, they are also happy. O king, are your wives, citizens, secretaries, and servants and merchants who sell spices and oil under your control? Are you also in full control of ministers, the inhabitants of your palace, your provincial governors, your sons, and your other dependents? If the king's mind is fully controlled, all his family members and governmental officers are subordinate to him. His provincial governors present taxes on time without resistance, and what to speak of lesser servants? O King Chitraketu, I can observe that your mind is not pleased. You seem not to have achieved your desired goal. Is this because of you yourself, or has it been caused by others? Your pale face reflects your deep anxiety. Shukdev Goswami said, O King Parikshit, although the great sage Angira knew everything, he inquired from the king in this way. The king Chitraketu, desiring a son, bent low in great humility and spoke to the great sage as follows. King Chitraketu said, O great Lord Angira, because of austerity, knowledge, and transcendental samadhi, you are freed from all the reaction of sinful life. Therefore, a perfect yogi, you can understand everything external and internal regarding embodied conditioned soul like us. O great soul, you are aware of everything, yet you are asking me why I am full of anxiety. Therefore, in response to your order, let me disclose the cause. As a person aggrieved by hunger and thirst is not pleased by external gratification of flower garlands or sandalwood pulp, I am not pleased with my empire, opulence, or possessions, which are desirable even for great demigods, because I have no son. Therefore, O great sage, please save me and my forefathers who are descending to the darkness of hell, because I have no progeny. Kindly do something so that I may have a son to deliver us from the hellish conditions.
Okay, we'll stop here. Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Hope you had nice memories. I don't know, you were not present, right, when it happened? We did this Chitraketu's pastimes in Krishna Seva Prabhu Sushila Mataji's home.
No, Prabhuji.
Okay, so hope you had nice reading then.
Yeah, the nice visit of Angira Maharaj, and yeah, look forward to your narration.
Nice. Let's begin. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet Nashta Prayeshu Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Jnanativrandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Anvitamscha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Mine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschyata Desatarane Vanchakalpatarabhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, thank you very much. So, this is in continuation in one way. Now we are discussing King Chitraketu's lamentation, but who is Chitraketu? This is the question actually coming because Indra, after he got completely, afflicted by sinful reactions, yeah, this was the chapter before. Parikshit Maharaj inquired about Indra's unhappiness, Indra's previous talks with sages, and personified sin chases Indra, and Indra relieved of the sin, and he was re-established to the same position. Yeah, after that comes this. So here, let me go to the first verse. So Shri Parikshit Uvacha Rajastama Swabhavasya Brahman Vitrasya Papmanaha Narayane Bhagavati Katham Asid Dridha Matihi. Katham, how? Hmm? Was there strong consciousness? It's asking, how is it possible that King Parikshit is, oh, learned Brahmana, demons are generally sinful. Hmm. He didn't say always sinful. Rajas Tama Swabhavasya, that is the nature. a sinful being obsessed with mode of passion and ignorance. How then could Vritrasura had attained such exalted love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead? We may see Kautuhala. Yeah, Kutuhala means something that is very inquisitive in nature, and who can have that inquisitiveness is one who is very eager to drink the nectar of Bhagavatam, the glories and deeds of the Lord and his devotees. Here, the interesting thing was this surprise expressed by Maharaj Parikshit is because we could see how Vritrasura body was with great difficulty. Indra could cut with that thunderbolt weapon that was created from the bones of what's that? Marichi. So with great difficulty. And then after that, what happened was he attained perfection. This was surprising, and that's why. mm, in the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning, in this material world, everyone is obsessed with mode of passion and ignorance. However, unless one conquers these modes and come to the platform of goodness, there is no chance of one's becoming a pure devotee. So usually we may think, maybe I can. There is so many quotas, right? There is a female quota, there is a male quota, there is a caste, lower caste, upper caste. There is different kinds of privileges or quotas or upadis. Yeah? But for bhakti, what is the quota here? It is that we have to somehow or the other come to the mode of goodness. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Why? In fact, even when we see the one of the 10 offenses is one should not preach to non-faithful person, right? Which means one who is in the mode of passion and ignorance, he is not in a right position to appreciate bhakti. So somehow or the other, one has to come to the platform of goodness. Otherwise, there is no chance. Yeah, Esham tva antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dradavrata. It says, Krishna is saying, persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, whose sinful activities are completely eradicated and who are freed from duality of delusion, engage themselves in my service with determination. Since Vritrasura was among demons, Parikshit Maharaj wondered how is it possible that usually demons are in the mode of passion or demons are in the mode of ignorance. How come that he got such an exalted position? So, in other words, the question is, how can a badmash can become a param bhakt? This is the question that surprised him. Devanam Suddhasatvanam Rishinam Shamalatmanam Bhaktir Mukunda Charane Na Prayenopa Jayate. He says, demigods situated in mode of goodness and great saints cleansed of dirt of material enjoyment hardly ever render pure devotional service at the feet of Mukunda. So here in the verse number 3 to 5, there is a ladder. What kind of ladder it is? A rarity ladder. How rare it is that one is a devotee is mentioned. We know that there are unlimited living beings, right? Rajovi sava sankhyataha parthivair iha jantavaha tesham ye kechane hante shreyo vai manujadaya. It says, in the material world, there are many living entities as atoms. Among these living entities, a very few are human beings, and among them, few are interested in following regulative principles. So already there are so many unlimited living beings, uh, and among them, human life itself is very rare. This is what it means to say. Human life is very rare among the humans. Again, there are civilized humans, there are uncivilized humans, or there are Aryans and non-Aryans. Arya means one who understands the purpose of human life and lives um, a religious life, yeah, so to say, yeah, following the religious principles. Praya mumukshavasteşam keche naiva dijottama Mumukshunam sahasreshu kaschin muchyeta siddhyati. It says, "O best of the Brahmanas, Shukadeva Goswami, out of many persons," this is what Parikshit Maharaj is asking. Parikshit Maharaj is asking Shukadeva Goswami to explain further. Out of many persons who follow regulative principles, only a few desire liberation from the material world. Why? We know that there are four stages or four uh, interesting uh, goals. What is that? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. One who is not interested in these four is already said before. Here, among those Aryans, among those people who follow regulative principles, some are interested in Artha, some are interested in Dharma, some are interested in Kama, some are interested in Moksha, which means one fourth. Or even to say what kind of liberation it is, it goes further. Uh, Among thousands who desire liberation, one may actually achieve liberation given giving up material attachment to society. So, moksha is attained when one is becoming free from attachment to society, friendship, love, country, home, wife, and children. And among such thousands, there are thousands of such people who are aspiring for moksha. uh, of thousand liberated, one can understand the true meaning of liberation, and which means it's very, very, very rare to really understand what is purpose of liberation, what is the meaning and purpose of liberation. uh, in the purport Prabhupada mentioned there are four classes of men: karmis, jnanis, and yogis, and bhaktas. Yeah, in the form of whatever we discussed before. So this statement pertains especially to karmis and jnanis. A karmi tries to be happy within this material world by changing from one body to another. His objective is bodily comfort, either in this planet or in another. That's why there are plans. When such a person becomes a jnani, however, be arise for liberation from material bondage. And among many such persons who aspire for liberation, one may actually be liberated during his life. Not only understanding, we are talking about, first of all, the rarity of one to appreciate liberation. Second is just appreciation doesn't mean anything. To really appreciate the real liberation, and just to understand the real liberation also doesn't bring value. One who understood what is real liberation and really come out to that stage, that level, is a real. Among many such persons who aspire for liberation, one may actually be liberated during his life. Such a person gives up his attachment to for family, friends, love, country, family, society, and children. Among many such persons who are in the Vanaprastha stage, one may understand the value of becoming a sannyasi, completely accepting the renounced order of life. What does liberation really mean? One may think, okay, I can, doesn't matter in which ashram you are, you can be liberated. It's very, very difficult. Why? Because the condition mentioned here is such a person gives up his attachment for society, friendship, love, family, position, country, wife, and children. So everything. So a sannyas, one has to come to vanaprastha. Then only sannyas can, yeah, uh, uh, become successful, completely renounced order of life. Muktanam ebi siddhanam narayana parayana sudurlabha prashantatma kotishva api mahamuni. It is said kotishva api mahamuni is out of millions, koti, kotishva, of millions, mahamuni. They said among many millions who are liberated. Now we are talking about millions of such a rare person who is liberated and perfect in knowledge of liberation, one may be a devotee of Lord Narayan or Krishna. So it is said one among million liberated may be a devotee of Narayan. Such devotees are fully prashantatma. And what was the other word? Sudurlabha, very difficult. Prashantatma are extremely rare. purport is Srila Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur gives the following purport to this verse. Simply desiring mukti or liberation is insufficient. Uh, Devotee of Lord is better than Jivan Mukta. We are not talking about any, even if one is free from suffering, that is not going to keep him there forever. In just like in the corporate world, we see a company may flourish, yeah, by its good fortune that so many people have purchased his product, either intentionally or accidentally, either because of genuinity or fake. Yeah, he may be flourishing, which means he is free from anxiety. Yeah. No, but he wants to make sure all the loose ends tight. Yeah. Or he want to make more. He want to exploit more, or he want to make it more perfect. Whatever be the case, yeah. Simply desiring mukti liberation is insufficient. One must become factually liberated. One should become to a satisfaction. Okay. One should understand. One should work in the mode of goodness. So that is what is expected. When one understands the futility of this materialistic way of life, one becomes advanced in knowledge, and therefore he situates himself in Vanaprastha ashram order, unattached to family, wife, and children. One should then further progress to the platform of sannyasa, the actual renounced order, never to fall again and be afflicted by materialistic life. No. Even though one desires to be liberated, this does not mean he is liberated. Just desiring doesn't bring us there. Only rarely is someone liberated. Indeed, although many men take sannyas to become liberated because of their because of their impersonalist or imperfection, they again become attached to women, material activities, social welfare work, and so on. Gyanis, yogis, and karmis devoid of devotional service are called offenders. Who are offenders? Very, very careful. Yeah. And to be come into this category, it's Gyanis, yogis, karmis. Whoever is left, bhaktas. Only bhaktas are non-offenders. Uh, Gyanis, karmis, and yogis devoid of devotional service are called offenders. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Mayavadi Krishna aparadhi. One who thinks that everything is Maya instead of thinking that everything is Krishna, he is an aparadhi, an offender. Hmm. Again, Gyanis, there are two kinds of Gyanis. One is inclined to devotional service, and other is impersonal looking for impersonal realization. Who are impersonalists generally undergo great endeavor for no tangible benefit, and therefore it is said that they are husking paddy that has no grain. Sthula, uh, Tushavagatin means to beat. Sthula. Sthula actually beats that doesn't has anything. Sthula is of no value. The other class of jnanis whose jnana is mixed with bhakti are two kinds. Those who are devoted to the so-called false form of the Supreme Lord, and those who understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Satchit Ananda Vigraha. So, which means Gyanis. Now, when we talk about Gyanis, there are two kinds. We said one who is inclined to devotion, one who is inclined to Brahman, impersonal realization. The other class of Gyanis, whose Jnana is mixed with Bhakti. Again, when it is mixed with Bhakti, there are two kinds of devotees. One, who is devoted to the so-called false form of the Supreme Lord, and one who is really understood the Supreme Lord from the scriptures and attached to him, and accept Vishnu with the idea, wait a second, the actual spiritual form. The Mayavadi devotees worship Narayana or Vishnu with the idea that Vishnu has accepted a form of Maya and that the ultimate truth is actually impersonal. So their understanding is from impersonal personal came. Hmm? The pure devotee, however, never thinks that Vishnu has accepted a body of Maya. Instead, he knows perfectly well that the original absolute truth is the Supreme Person. So this goes further. It is said, such a devotee is actually situated in knowledge. He never merges in Brahma Jyoti. एत्यन्त रविदाक्ष विमुक्तमानैः त्वयि अष्टभावाद् अविशुद्ध बुद्धया आरुह्य कृच्छ्रेण परमपदं ततः पतन्ति अधो अनादृत युष्मद् अन्ग्रयः. O Lord, the intelligence of those who think themselves liberated but who have no devotion is impure. Even though they rise to the highest position of liberation by the dint of severe penances and austerity, they are sure to fall down again in the material existence, for they do not take shelter at your lotus feet. And Prabhupada gives in the purport examples. Yeah, but the point is that we sometimes, Gaur Bhagwan Prabhu, do you remember? Do you remember at your home program there was one who has come? I forgot his name. He was from Tamil Nadu. Yeah. What
Yes,
is the
Prabhu.
desire? What is the goal of life? He said moksha. You remember?
Right, Prabhu.
Hmm?
Yes.
So here we can see, those who are thus bewildered are attracted by demonic and atheistic views. In that deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, their fruitful activities, and their culture of knowledge are all defeated. So whatever one may attain, it's of no use. What is the best way is those who aspire to be elevated to the heavenly planets by devotional service will also be frustrated. One may think, no, no, no. I now know the secret how to attain the higher position just by taking shelter of Vishnu. That should be enough. No, what happens to them is because this is not the result of devotionals. However, they are given a chance to engage in devotional service. Shrimatam Swakata Krishnam Punya Shravana Kirtanam Hridyantasto hi Abhadrani Vidunoti Suhrit Satam. So it is said, Sri Krishna, who is the Paramatma in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desires for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who relishes his message, which are in themselves virtuous and when properly heard and chanted. So, what happens? Yeah, that is the reason why we can see Krishna consciousness is spreading all over the world. Why? Because it has the potency to clean the heart of every every kind of contamination that one may have in heart. Whether the contamination is for money, whether the contamination is for women, whether the contamination is for wine, doesn't matter. We can see practical examples. And Srila Prabhupada, when he went to the US, what did he do? Is he just took the Bhagavatam and he was speaking out from the Bhagavatam that transformed everyone. Huh? That is the power. That is the power. It said, Hridayantasto hi abhadrani. Whatever is the dirt in the heart, vidnoti suhrit shatam, that gets one is freed from that. Unless the dirt within the core of one's heart is cleansed away, one cannot become a pure devotee. Therefore, the word sudurlabha in this verse, in the main text, is it is said very rare, not only among hundreds and thousands, but among millions of perfectly liberated souls. A pure devotee is hardly ever found. Therefore, sometimes now, of course, this is not in the purport. Sometimes people may say, hey, we are in Kali Yuga, and in this Yuga, hey, we can't find saintly people at all. Why? Even the Shastras are saying it is very rare, millions, millions, millions. How is it possible? How is it possible? Then we can find a sadhu. Even if he's a sadhu, is he really a sadhu? Even if he is a really sadhu, can he really take me back? What is the guarantee? That is our foolishness. Anyway, Srila Madhvacharya gives the following quotation from the Tantra Bhagavata. He says, Navakostya tu devanam rishaya saptakotayah narayana naha sarve ye kechit tat parayana. There are 90 million demigods and 70 million sages who are all called Narayana Ayana, devotees of Lord Narayan. Among them, only a few are called Narayana Parayana. नारायणायन देवा ऋषये आद्यास्तत्परायणाः ब्रह्माद्या केच केचनैव स्युः Siddho Yogya Sukham Labhan. It says the difference between Siddhas, yeah, one who have attained mystic powers, and Narayana Parayanas is that direct devotees are called Narayana Parayanas, whereas those who perform various types of mystic yogas are called Siddhas. That is summarizing the rarity of one attaining pure devotional service. Does this mean should we lose hope? First of all, how challenging it is to find such a devotee in our vicinities. The more and more we are coming into the advancement, the more and more it becomes challenging. No, no, no. After all, the technology is helping us to identify who is the best guru, isn't it? Just put in the Google, just put in the chat GPT. I would like to know who is the best among all gurus of this time. And then, yeah, and then the same chat GPT or Google is also going to give us the same technology is also going to bewilder us. Why? Because it says, yeah, you may have heard there is something good about it based on these people, but the other community of people, they are saying, hey, he's not good. Huh? Isn't it? I don't know, Satish Prabhu? Huh? Chat GPT, does it stop there or does it also give all the background? Huh? In 19 so and so, there would be a case, in that time, this is it's still ongoing. So many things. Where are we going to take? And a person would simply give up, thinking, hey, I think in this yoga it's not possible. Then he understands, maybe he is thinking. I think such saintly people are so rare, either they do not exist in the world where we live. If they live, maybe they are in the Himalayas. And the media doesn't leave people who are in Himalayas, right? They just run there with all their cameras and then they shoot everything and they start showing. Have anyone seen this when Kumbh Mela was happening? There was so much coverage, isn't it? That this sadhu has worn that sadhu is like this, so much. Yeah. Why are these sadhus not seen after the Mela? Hmm? Sometimes for genuine sadhus, they don't have interest to stay, they go back. And fake sadhus, they can't stay because otherwise people can easily, very quickly find out with all the technology. Anyway. वृत्रस्तु स कथं पापा सर्वलोकपतापनः इत्थं दृढमतिः कृष्ण आसीत् संग्राम उल्बने. Vritrasura was situated in the blazing fire of battle and was an infamous, sinful demon, always engaged in giving troubles and anxiety to others. How could such a demon become a so great Krishna conscious? Greatly Krishna conscious. It means here we have to understand Parikshit Maharaj was not ordinary king. He is Rajarshi and um, a great devotee. Has a vast understanding of this. That's why he's asking this question. He has explained such a rarity. First of all, to become a human is difficult. We are talking about a demon who has attained Krishna. How is it possible? Vritrasura. It has been described that a Narayana Parayana, a pure devotee, is rarely found even among millions and millions of persons. Therefore, Parikshit Maharaj was surprised that Vritrasura, whose purpose was to give trouble and anxiety to others, was one of these devotees, even on a battlefield. What was the reason of Vritrasura's advancement? And then Shukadeva Goswami is saying, Atra na samshayo bhuyan. Okay, I have to change. Um, okay. Hmm. So it is said, Atra na samshayo bhuyan chotrum kautuhalam. Yeah, this is the word I was referring. Kautuhalam prabho. Yeah, paurushena samare sahasraksham athoshayat. He's saying that, yeah, there's no doubt. Although Vritrasura was a sinful demon, he showed the prowess of most exalted Kshatriya and satisfied Lord Indra in battle. How could such a demon be a great devotee of Lord Krishna? These contradictions have caused me great doubt, and they have made me eager to hear from you. Please tell me. Then uh, Shri uh, Suta Goswami, yeah, we know this, right? Suta Goswami is telling to Saunaka the Rishi about the conversation of Shukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. So Suta Goswami is saying, Parikshito tha samprashnam Bhagavan Badarayanihi निशम्य श्रद्धादानस्य pratinandya vacho bravit. So Suta Goswami is saying, Sri Suta Goswami, after hearing Maharaj Parikshit's very intelligent question, Badarayana, the son of Vyasadeva, Shukadev Goswami began answering his disciple with great affection. So, in this regard, it goes further. Shukadev Goswami is saying, please hear. Shruno swavahito rajan itihasam imam yatha shrutam dvaipayana mukhan naradad devalad api. Strength of this verse, I can bring a very important point. What is that? People usually say Puranas are not real. Hmm. Maybe they are, metaphorical or analogical or some kind of concept to establish the greatness of the Lord and his devotees. In fact, they are not real. If you see the names of the characters that are used, does it can't be really? And some people are of that opinion. But here, and then of course, why I brought this is, then they say no, no, but Ramayana and Mahabharata are itihasas. These are itihasas and absolute, and that's the reason I think they are truth, but Puranas, okay. Here we can see Sri Sukadeva Goswami saying, O king, I shall speak to you the same history. It is the itihasam imam yatha. Yatha means as it is, just as it is. Shrutam, from whom he has heard, Shrutam Dvaipayana Mukhan. This, whatever I have heard from Dvaipayana Mukhan, from Vyasadeva, Narada, and Devala. Devala, Narada, and uh, Vyasadeva. This is what I have heard from, and I am going to tell. How can this be a story? It is said, Itihasa Imam. Yatha, as it is, I am going to speak. Please listen with attention. Saying so, the purport 10. Asit Raja Sarvabhaumaha Sura Seneshu Vai Nrupa Chitraketur Iti Kyato Yasyasid Kamadun Mahi. Now I am going to tell about a province, the king of a province called Surashena. There was a king named Chitraketu who ruled the entire earth. During his reign, earth produced all necessities. In Ishopanishad, there is a shloka, Ishabhasam idam sarvam yat kinche jagat yayam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita ma grida kasya svi dhanam. So everything, animate or inanimate, that is within the universe is controlled and owned by owner. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and one should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. Ishabhasam idam saryam yat kinchit jagatyam jagat. So if it is not ours, we shouldn't touch. Uh, so why this is mentioned here is to explain the glories of Chitraketu. Uh, in fact, there is example of Kamam Vavasya Parjanyah Sarva Kama Dukha Mahi. During the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthira, the clouds showered all the water that people needed, and the earth produced all the necessities of men in profusion. Anyway, we have no control over the earth's productivity, for it's naturally under the full control of the Supreme Lord. We may think that by doing this, doing that, we can cultivate more, produce more. and it's called There Will Be No Question of Exploitation, for everyone will have enough. Black marketeering, and other corrupt dealings will then automatically stop. तस्य भार्या सहस्राणां सहस्राणि दशाभवन् शान्तानिकस् चापि नृपो न लेभे तासु सन्तितम्. So it says this Chitraketu had 10 million wives. But although he was capable of producing children, he did not receive a child from any of them. By chance, all wives were barren. As I said, for people who will think Bhagavatam is not reality, say how come a king can have millions of wives? Here it is said Sahasrani Dasha Bhavan. How many wives he had? Sahasrani, Bharya Sahasrana. So many are there. Hmm. And also, the king was Santa Nikaha, quite capable of begetting sons, but didn't happen. रूपोदार्य वयो जन्म विद्यैश्वर्य श्रियादिभिः सम्पन्नस्य गुणैः सर्वैः चिन्ता बन्ध्या पतेर अभूत. Chitraketu, he was beautiful. It's not that, okay, he doesn't have potency. He is beautiful, magnanimity, youth. He was born in a high family. He had a complete education and he was wealthy and opulent. Nevertheless, in spite of being endowed with all these assets, he was full of anxiety because he did not have a son. In today's world, just can you imagine if someone doesn't have a child, then of course, today's world, I'm just mentioning about um, the last 50 years, 100 years, you can see how much it becomes a pain, challenging. The society sees, oh, there is some fault. There is, oh, no, I think it is not about medical problems that the people discuss. They talk about the sin. They talk because to get a putra, one has to have a lot of piety. If one is uh, um, to be blessed by a child, yeah, definitely all this piety and etc. are needed, but the society takes it even more rather than supporting, rather than being compassionate, rather than saying, okay, don't worry. Uh, it's if Lord blesses, then only it happens. Yeah, so let's accept the plans of the Lord. Yeah, it's not always only because one is sinful, that's why they are not blessed. Yeah, we can see in the devotee's life. Yeah, devotees, if Krishna wants to bless them children, yes. If Krishna doesn't want, then no. So it's not only a sinful person will not have child, but sometimes we can see even devotees, they don't have children. But everything as per the will and plan of the Lord, and we accept it. But the society cannot accept because society doesn't has that understanding. So that's why society will always yeah, either show sympathy, or you call this pity, or take this and be yeah, chastising, or all kinds of things happen for a uh, for a couple without children. Here we can see it appears that the king first married one wife, but she could not bear a child. Then he married a second, a third, a fourth, but none of the wives could bear children. In spite of material assets of Janma Ishwarya Shruta Sri, birth is in an aristocratic family with full opulence, wealth, education, beauty. He was very much aggrieved because, in spite of having so many wives, he had no son. Hmm. Grahastha life does not mean having a wife and no children. Chanakya Pandit says, Putrahinam grahashunyam. If a family man had no son, his home is no better than a desert. The king was certainly most unhappy that he could not get a son, and this is why he had married so many times. Kshatriyas especially are allowed to marry many more than one wife, and this king did so. Nonetheless, he had no child. न तस्य सम्पदः सर्वा महिष्य वाम लोचनाः सर्वाभौमस्य भूचेयम् भवन प्रीति हेतवः. So his queens Hmm? All had beautiful faces, but of no use. And then Tasya kada tu bhavanam angira bhagavan rishi lokan anucharan etam upagachat yadrichya. Yadrichya is a word that's used here. It's not mentioned in the trans in the purport. Yadrichya is suddenly, yeah, unexpected. Or Yadrija, sometimes our mind goes somewhere, na? Which means our mind is not attentive. That there is also, so something that is not normal, so that is not expected to happen, suddenly happened. Yadrichya upagachat, he has arrived. Who? Sage Angira. Angira Rishi, na? Angira Bhagavan Ripa Rishi Lokan Anucharan Etan. So while he was going traveling all over the universe without engagement, and then Upagachat, he came here. Tam पूजयित्वा विधिवत् प्रत्युत्थानार्थ नादिभिः कृतातिथ्य कृतातिथ्यम आतिथ्यम उपासीद सुखासीन samahitah. So Chitraketu immediately stood up from his throne, offered his worship. He offered all hospitality that's needed. When the rishi was seated very comfortably, restraining his mind and senses, sat on the ground at the side of Rishi's feet. Maharshis tam upasinam prasrayavantam kshitau pratipujya maharaja samabhashyedam abhravit. So just seated at his lotus feet, the sage, he congratulated him for his humility and hospitality. The sage addressed him in the following verse. From verse number 17 to verse number 26. This is very important part again. Angira, when sages are speaking, it's so nice. And here we see Angira Uvacha, Apite Anamayam Swasti. I hope that your body, mind, प्रकृतानां तथा मनः यथा प्रकृतिभिर्गुप्तः पुमान् राजा स च सप्तभिः is saying seven elements. It is said that Angira Rishi is saying, I hope that your body, mind, and your royal associates and paraphernalia are well. When the seven properties of material nature, what are they? Seven, the total material element energy, the ego, and five objects of sense gratification are in proper order, the living entity within the material elements is happy. Very interesting, no? This means the soul can be happy when it is having proper comforts of the material body. Without these seven elements, one cannot exist. Yes. Soul should feel fortunate. Atma, I should be very fortunate that I am bestowed this human form of life, which is made of these seven elements. And the seven elements are the means through which I can actually go to my destination. That's why we should feel very fortunate that we have this body. Just like a person who wants to cross over the ocean, he is very fortunate to get a boat so that he can row the boat to the destination. So this body is very nice to have. Without these seven elements, one cannot exist. Similarly, a king is always protected by seven elements, and this is very important. When someone is leading, when someone is what do you call, take up the mm, leadership role, it is mentioned he should be supported by his instructor. Guru is very important. It's Swami or Guru, in the bracket it is mentioned. Then his ministers, they protect. Guru is protecting his person or pupil. So Guru is blessing and Guru is instructing. That's why the word used here is instructor. Swami means he is to be served, because to get the energy to execute the responsibility, the king has to get power, and he gets by serving Guru, Swami. That's why it said Swami or Guru. And then his ministers, he need to have a panel of advisors around him who can guide him when to be consulted. That's why they call counselors. His kingdom, the kingdom itself is protection, isn't it? to really implement what his plan is, he has this boundaries, and he has these facilities, his fort, his treasury. He should be facilitated. He should have sufficient funds to do it. His royal order and his friends. That is the order. Hmm. Usually we do the, sometimes we may think, yes, I do the other way. What we do is we take up friends as the most important. A king, um, usually for his own benefit, he would consult his friends, of course, because of his uh, freedom. Yeah, yeah. That's why it is said one when has an issue, then usually they say, let me go to my friend and discuss. Yeah, but one should understand what kind of subjects can be discussed with at a friendly level. When Krishna and Arjuna, uh, we know in the Kurukshetra war, in the battlefield, Krishna was consulted by Arjuna in the beginning as a friend. No, that really didn't solve the problem. So this is the order. If we want to advance, if we want to appreciate our own success in our own responsibilities, especially in leading roles, leadership roles, yeah, we should always have this, that we follow the instructions of our guru, then the ministers, then the kingdom, then the fort, yeah, or the facilities, then the treasury. Sometimes na Vaishya mentality is that we have money, so we can do whatever we want. That is not right. Anyway, so the order, yeah, is gurus, the instructor, Swami and Guru, the ministers. Then comes the kingdom, what he's ruling. He should take the support of that. The fort, the physical protection, treasury, his royal order means, it means that his own people, yeah, and his friends. So this is the order, not the other way. In fact, in the purport, we can see Sridhara Swami commentaries Swami Amatyau Janapada Durga Dravina Sanchayaha Dando Mitramcha Tasyaitam Sapta Prakritayo Mataha. A king is not alone. This is from Bhagavatam verse. Uh, it is he, just what I was mentioning, we can see from commentary of Sridhara Swami also, it says, he first has his spiritual master. There is no second. First is the spiritual master, this supreme guide. Then comes his ministers, his kingdom, his fortification, his treasury, his system of law and order, and his friends or allies. If these seven are properly maintained, the king is happy. Rather, if a king, I mean, this is not mentioned here. I'm just checking if it is covered elsewhere in the remaining part. So, so rather the king, if he thinks that he can be happy by approaching his friends, hmm, by approaching in the other order, hmm, then yeah, he may be happy because that's what he expected. But on a long run, he would be unhappy because the results will not be favorable. So, and purport goes further. Similarly, as explained, Bhagavad Gita, Dehinosmin Yata Dehe, the living entity, the soul, is within the material covering of Mahatattva, ego, and Pancha Tanmatras, the five objects of sense gratification. When these seven are in proper order, the living entity is in a mood of pleasure. Generally, when associates of king are quiet and obedient, the king can be happy. Therefore, Angira is asking, Angira Rishi inquired from king about his personal health, his good fortune of his seven associates. When we inquire from a friend whether everything is fine, we are concerned not only with his personal self but also with his family, his source of income, and his assistants or servants, isn't it? When I'm asking, how are you doing? We are just in a back of our mind. It means these things are inseparable. All of them must be well, and then a person can be happy. Atmanam Prakritishva Adda nidhaya shreya apnuyat ragnya tatha prakritayo naradevahitadhaya. He says, O king, O Lord of humanity, when a king directly depends upon his associates and follows their instructions, he is happy. So, king means he is dependent on his people. It's not like, okay, we know that people are dependent on king, definitely yes, because he has the resources and he has the power to execute such resources in one way. Yes, he is not dependent on people, but he is indirectly depending on people. How? Because if he exercises his power properly, if he gives the resources properly, then the people are happy. When the people are happy, then he is happy. This means his happiness is still depending on the people. Similarly, when his associates offer their gifts and activities to the king and follows his orders, they are also happy. This is a give and give. The people are happy because people are not taking proprietorship but servitorship, working in servitude. And the king also is serving the people, so he is also servant. So the king is servant of people and people are servant of the king. Uh, they are also happy. The actual happiness of a king and his dependents is described in this verse. A king should not simply give orders to his dependents because he is supreme. Sometimes he must follow their instructions. Similarly, the dependents should depend on the king. This mutual dependence will make everyone happy. And then apidaraha prajamatya bhritya shrenyoth mantrinah paura janapada bhupa atmaja vasha vartinah. O king, are your wives, children, secretaries, servants, merchants who sell spices and oils under your control? Are you also in full control of ministers, the inhabitants of your palace, your provincial governors, your sons and your other dependents? Slowly he's coming to the sons. The master of the king and his subordinates should be interdependent. Through cooperation, both of them are happy. यस्य आत्मानु वशश्चेत् स्यात् सर्वे तद् वसगा इमे लोका सपाल यच्छन्ति सर्वे बलिम अतन्द्रिताः. Otherwise, if the king's mind is fully controlled, all his family members and government officials are subordinate to him. His provincial governors present taxes on time without resistance, and what to speak of less servants. So, Angira Rishi is saying, is everything under your control? Everything outside is outside world in your control, and now he's asking, is your inside world, the mind is in your control? Angira Rishi asking whether his mind was under his control. This is most essential for happiness in the purport Prabhupada writes. Then Atmanah priyate natma paratah swata eva va lakshyate labdha kamam tvam chintaya shabala mukham. I see somehow, O king, I feel that your mind is not pleased. You seem not to be have achieved your goal, desired goal. Is this because of you yourself, or has it been caused by others? Your pale face reflects your deep anxiety. एवं विकल्पितो राजन् विशुधः मुनिनापि सह प्रश्रय यावनतो भ्याः अभ्याः प्रजा कामस्ततो मुनिः. Face is index of mind. Here it says, although the great sage Angira knew everything, he inquired from king in this way. Thus King Chitraketu, desiring a son, bent low in great humility and spoke to the great sage as follows. So, when Angira Rishi remarked about king's discolored face, Chitraketu explained the cause of his anxiety and he said, Chitraketu Uvacha, Bhagavan kim na viditam. How is that you won't know? Tapo gnana samadhi bihi yoginam drushta papanam bahir anta sharirishu. King Chitraketu said, "O great Lord Angira, because of austerity, knowledge, and transcendental samadhi, you are freed from all the reactions of sinful life. Therefore, as a perfect yogi, you can understand everything external and internal regarding embodied conditioned souls like us. तथापि पश्यतो भूयां ब्रह्मन् आत्मनि चिन्तितं भवतो विदुषश्चापि चोदितस्त्वम् अनुज्ञया. O great soul, you are aware of everything, yet you are asking me why I am full of anxiety. Therefore, in response to your order, let me disclose the cause." There are two things here. One is King Chitraketu, of course, didn't ask Angira Rishi, "Hey, now I have a great opportunity. You know what? I can now reveal my self to Angira Rishi and seek blessings and can get my problem solved." No, it was Angira Rishi who was understanding that this king is suffering. So there is an etiquette here that one is not just going and asking, yeah. One is asking something which is very, very rightful if it really, really is compelling, if it is really needed. And here, because Angira Rishi was asking why, of course, for a good cause here. So that's why uh, Chitraketu is answering. Lokapalair api prarthyaha samrajyaishwarya sampada na nandayanti aprajam mam kshut trit kamam ivapare. He's saying, as a person aggrieved by hunger and thirst is not pleased by external gratification of flower garland or sandalwood pulp. I am not pleased with my empire, opulence, or possessions, which are desirable even for great demigods, because I have no son. So, human nature, yeah, we can refer to Ramayana, where Dashrath Maharaj, though he had everything, but he didn't had son. Of course, his prayers was blessed so that he could have the sons, the Lord as his sons. mm. But the nature is a point here. Pleased only if desires are fulfilled, else become aggrieved. He had a desire to have a son, Chitraketu, but he didn't had, so that's why he was so much unhappy and in anxiety. We are not pleased in spite of many opulences and possessions unless that desired one is fulfilled. And that's why he's saying, Tata Pahi Mahabhaga. Oh, please save. Pahi means kindly save. Tata, therefore, because of this, Pahi Mahabhaga Purve Sahagatam Tamaha Yatha Tarema Dushparam Prajaya Tad Vidyehi Naha. He's saying, therefore, O great sage, please save me and my forefathers. So the anxiety that Chitraketu was having, it was not just because of not just having son. He was keen on how come if there is no son, who is going to do the Shraddh ceremony? Forefathers, yeah, they will go to hell. They will suffer in the hell. That's why who are describing to yeah. Therefore, O great sage, please save me and my forefathers who are descending to the darkness of hell because of having I have no progeny. Kindly do something so that I may have a son to deliver us from hellish conditions. According to Vedic civilization, one gets married simply to have a son who is needed to offer oblations to his forefathers. King Chitraketu responsibly carried to beget a child so that he and his forefathers might be delivered from the darkness. And we are in the 21st century. People are thinking, what are people thinking? What is that? Co-living? What is the other word? Con con convenient conveniential relationship. What is this word called? Recently I heard. The relations based on convenience. Yeah. So if it's convenient, let's marry. If no, we are not having, no, that's okay. We can live like good friends, best friends, whatever. You have your,
Living relationship.
yeah, living relationship, co-living are fine. But then there is the other word. These days, yeah, people have always nice terms. It's called Conveniential relationships, I think. No more conventional relationships.
Situational relationship.
Situational relationships. See, based on what situation we need, we build relationship. So we are in. So here Chitraketu, yeah, is making a very important point, that one should have child so that he and his forefathers are saved from hell. uh, so that's the purpose here. So King Chitraketu responsibility desired to beget a child so that he and his forefathers can be relieved. He was concerned with how to get pinda, oblations in the next life, not only for himself but also for his forefathers. Therefore, he requested Angira to favor him by doing something that could help him get a son. What happened afterwards, we will discuss next Saturday. If someone has heard first time, I'm sure that this would be quite interesting, exciting. And for one who is hearing again, yeah, it's a recap to understand the importance of these aspects. I think maybe at that time we may not have stressed so much um, about the king's position, uh, what are his seven uh, associates or things, assets also we can call. uh, Dependent, king is dependent on these seven. What is the order? I think we didn't stress so much at that time. I think at that time we were focused on the grihastha life and the need of a child, and what happened in the case of sage Angira coming in, all these things. So that is the beauty of Bhagavatam. Each verse has so much to offer. We may not be able to cover that in one go. We may have to read again and again and again, listen again and again and again, uh, read again and again, speak again. So, yes, at one point we come to this point that it doesn't matter how many years we are in Krishna consciousness, it matters how many years do we have to hear Bhagavatam in this life. Yeah, thank you. Any questions, comments? Anyone? Was it who read this? Gaur Bhagwan Prabhu, right?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Something from you? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, I had Prabhuji one question on verse 17 that it
I
was
also like 17th verse. Yeah. Tell me. Yeah.
the living entity require these total material energy, ego, and 5 objects of sense gratification.
You are saying 17th verse, no?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me.
So, Prabhuji, this living entity require all these
You need body, right?
egos and these.
Yeah, you need a material body.
Mhm.
Yeah. The total material energy. You need also the Shakti, right? Is it just you need also the facilitation to execute your plans with the material body, right?
Mhm.
It's not just if you have a mouth will not help you. You need food to eat through the mouth.
Mhm.
You
So,
need
Prabhuji, for
you need the air.
bhakta,
You need the
devotee
air to.
also is required all.
Sorry, say again.
So, devotee also require all.
Yeah, devotee. What is the devotee offering? He's offering the material ingredients also, making it spiritualized, right? If he
Mm,
doesn't has the bhoga, what is he going to offer?
yes,
The material energy is needed, right? The water, air, fire, all these things. The material body is needed, and yeah, we need to have this ego. Yeah, this mind. Yeah, here the point is to say the mind. So this is because mind is the master of the senses. We can't have senses without the master, right?
yes, Prabhuji, yeah. Mm,
Yeah.
yes, Prabhuji, yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Thank you. Suryatej Prabhu. How is your breath going on?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yeah, Prabhuji, it's going on nice. You know,
Yeah, very nice to
this
see.
was very interesting yeah, session, Prabhuji. You explained it very nicely. The point which I liked was this regarding this liberation, Prabhuji. So we should not. I mean, the liberation should, if I understood correctly, liberation should be a byproduct of our or the result of our bhakti, but not the end goal.
Yeah,
I like this
very nice.
point very much.
Yeah, that's the thing. Otherwise, it's all like we may attain, but in the end,
Uh,
it's not the permanent solution, and we just
yes,
come down.
yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I
Um.
think we cannot enjoy the process of bhakti also if this is our end goal.
Yeah. The other way, when we enjoy bhakti, anyway, everything is, yeah.
Yes,
See, Bilba Mangal Thakur, he says, when we are executing ourselves in devotional service, everything is at our mm, disposal. Because the Lord is appreciating, hey, there is such a devotee, let me arrange everything. That's very common, right?
yes, Prabhu. Yes, yeah, Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji.
You're still there, because I
Uh,
have connected myself to a different network.
yeah, we lost you in between, but I got
Yeah.
the point.
So, yeah, but that's a very nice observation. Very important also. Actually, I always feel if we could create a, notice board for ourselves to notify ourselves. These are very important messages that we are collecting from Bhagavatam. Long ago, I was thinking, yeah, we could create such a blog or somewhere a space with all these tags, with these keywords and the references, which can help us to appreciate this element. Yeah, this is one thing that you found is nice, and the other thing is, yeah, uh, uh, we may become very successful materially. Yeah, we may be very successful to give up such material things, but that's not end of the game. The end of the game comes only when we really reach to our home, going back to home, back to Godhead. And if we focus that, automatically everything is taken care.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Just like if you want to become, yeah, the Prabhupada gives the example of a 100 rupee note. Yeah. In the 100 rupees, there is also 1 rupee, there is also 2 rupees, 20 rupees, yeah, whatever. Everything is inside that. Rather, if you think, no, no, let me collect only all this 1 rupee note, 2 rupee note, 5 rupee note, 10 rupee note, na? You can come, but still, yeah, it's it's a different game.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, Prabhuji.
I
Yeah,
think
thank you,
there is
Prabhuji.
some internet issue anyway. I think I can see the video is lagging. Um, I'll turn off the video. That's better if. uh, Um, any other comments or questions? No? Then, yeah, thank you very much for joining. Yeah, we have, I mean, I'm already going.